All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99 back with another video. All right, y'all, let's talk about these bantamweight fights from today, this afternoon. I had to go back and watch them, catch them on the replay. So I'm a little fresh off the fights just a few hours ago. So let's go ahead and do the post-fight discussion for both of these bantamweight fights in this one video. All right, let's kick it off with Nora Cornolle versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti 2. Just so y'all know, this was a rematch. They fought a few years back, I want to say about 2021. Before they both were in the UFC, and y'all know Cavalcanti, she won the first fight. Going into this fight, I had to pick Cavalcanti, even if she took this fight on short notice. I feel like she was a more technically sound fighter. Just overall had the better stand-up game and just takedown defense as well, which is something I still wanted to see tested, which it was tested in this fight. I will say this, I did pick Cavalcanti to win. I think she did enough to win, but it was a little too close for comfort, and had the judges saw fit to give it to Nora Cornolle, I probably wouldn't have argued it. I would probably be a little disappointed in Cavalcanti if she didn't get this one, because she had plenty of opportunities to close this show in France, which is what she needed to do, because you see, she almost lost this fight by a split decision. Cavalcanti, she came through with a split decision, but Cornolle, she was doing enough to impress one of the judges. Had she got taken down another time or two, she probably would have lost this fight. And Cavalcanti would only have herself to blame. I will say that, all right? Because going into this fight, I felt Cavalcanti was going to use her stand-up game to the best of her ability, counter-striking and, just laying those hard power shots, keep this fight standing, which she did for the most part. And she landed some good shots in here to get the fight done. But she kept admiring her work, standing back, admiring her work, and just taking her foot off the gas. And that kept giving Cornolle a chance to recover and come back. And that's the thing about Cornolle. Like, Cornolle has technique on the inside and some good takedowns, which she had in this fight. But I don't think she's as technically sound, as Cavalcanti. So whenever Cavalcanti would outstrike her and hurt her, she wouldn't jump on her. So Nora Cornolle had plenty of recovery time to come back and try to win this fight, and she tried. I mean, if you go back and look at the first round, I gave the first round to Nora. I gave Nora the first round because I thought she did land more shots, effective shots. I thought she was landing a nice calf kick in the beginning of the round. She was landing some nice calf kicks that opened up an opportunity for her to get into a clinch fight with Jackie. Jackie was against the cage a few times in the first round until eventually Nora took her down and got some good ground control time in. Now, shout out to Jackie, man. She showed some good scramble and get up. She used those hips, and she was able to get a nice reversal, get on top of Nora. But she did the smart thing, got back to her feet, and started to get into a rhythm with her striking a little bit more. But I think Nora definitely won the first round with her pressure and overall strength. Second round, though, this is where Nora looked like she started to kind of gas out. She being a fresher fighter, I was surprised like she started gassing out here. I think she expended a little too much energy. So, as she's fighting off the back foot, trying to get away from the power of Cavalcanti. Cavalcanti backs her into the cage, and she cracks her with a good right hand, followed by another one. And you see Nora reeling back there, and I thought we were about to get a knockout. I thought we were about to get a finish, but Cavalcanti kind of takes a foot off the gas and just steps back and admires her work. And I'm like, oh, you got to get her, get her. So when she does this, it gives Nora a chance to clinch her up and get her to the cage again and land some hard knees to the body and just kind of cage wrestle Jackie, the remainder of the round here and there, which is why I said, the judges might swing this round to Nora now, So I kind of saw it as possibly 2-0. I had it 1-1, but it could have been possibly 2-0. So going into the third, I said, they're over here in France. Cavalcanti, she's got to get a finish. And again, she's starting to control the stand-up, landing her own good leg kick. Nora's still landing hers here and there, still putting a little bit of pressure, returning some pressure fire back. But, Cavalcanti, she's leading the dance here for the most part, landing some hard power shots. She lands a good left hook this round, too, and then another sequence of them right hands come, and you see Nora just getting stumbled. She's getting stumbled. Like, you can see it in her face, too. Like, she's really, like, kind of starting to gas out at this point. She's eating some hard shots, and she's getting frustrated, too, because I remember, like, as she was stepping back, she started talking to somebody. I don't know if she was talking to the commentators or she was talking to somebody outside of the cage. So at this point, I think Cavalcanti had a finish in the bag, because Nora was distracted either by the crowd. Was she either talking to the crowd or was she talking to somebody like her corner? I don't know. The crowd, corner, or commentator is one of them, but she was distracted. So while she's distracted, Cavalcanti started to pick her apart again and lands another hard shot. And I'm like, dang, get this girl out of here. But again, takes her foot off the gas and lets Nora finish the fight on her feet kind of strong, So, yeah, 29-28. One of the judges had it for Cornolle. The other two had it for Cavalcanti, which is what I had it. But I kind of thought that they were going to swing in Nora Cornolle's way, man, because she was just stepping back a little too much and letting Cornolle get her hands on her a little bit too often, So, yeah, good competitive fight, though. It was good scrap. I like what both fighters were doing in there. Jacqueline Cavalcanti, on the other hand, some questions were answered, which is what I wanted to see. How's her takedown defense? It was decent. It was okay, but still needs work. How was her pivot? I think she kind of needs to work on being able to pivot out of the way. Maybe she's a little too front foot heavy. She needs to pivot more out if she's wanting to keep that stand up and she doesn't want to get taken down. She's gonna have to move around a little bit more. Still need to see some more bigger fighters, how she deals with them. Bigger, like bigger grapplers, like how she deals with cage fighting against those type of fighters, because I know Cornolle's more of a Muay Thai fighter, but I could tell she did work on like her wrestling to really try to frustrate and just kind of maul Cavalcanti throughout the fight. But she kind of expended a lot of energy. She overexerted a lot of energy. But overall, I think Cavalcanti is a good technical fighter, but not to be harsh, if I was a casual fan, I would say she was kind of like a poor man's Amanda Nunes. And that's not disrespect. I'm just saying, as far as like, she has the technique and the good discipline and IQ, but when she hurts a fighter with that right hand, she does the opposite of what Amanda does. Amanda hurts you, she's letting loose. She's getting you out of there. She's going to let those powerful right hands just continue to land until the ref steps in or until you fall. And I think Cavalcanti had many opportunities to get her out of there. And that's something that she's got to be aware of, moving forward. Like, in this bantamweight division, Cavalcanti, she's got to be a little bit more she's got to have that killer instinct. She's got to have that go for it attitude a little bit more. I know she wants to get the wins too, but you got to have that balance. Like, when somebody is hurt, you got to get them. You got to go ahead and get them, especially if you're fighting in their home country. She almost dropped this decision. So if she had knocked her out in the second round or the third round, she wouldn't have had that split decision. You wouldn't have that problem, right? So I just think that her go get them is something that's going to be needed moving forward in the bantamweight division. You got girls like Irene Aldana, who might not have the highest IQ, but let's say if she fights Cavalcanti, she's going to be hard to stop. So you want to get a girl like that out of there if you got the power. Fighters like Macy Chiasson, these girls are big, they're strong, Kayla Harrison, Norma Dumont. So you got to have some type of intimidation factor, not just IQ and skill. Now, again, I love what she's doing as far as her stand-up, but moving forward, I think when she hurts these girls, she's got to get them out of there. You got to get them out of there. Nora Cornolle, on the other hand, I think she needs to really clean up her stand-up game a little bit. I think she had a good calf kick, but as far as the calf kick, she didn't really throw like good solid sequences herself to get the respect of Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Also, maybe her cardio, maybe that was an issue too. Maybe that's something she needs to work on because she started gassing in the second, or maybe just her pacing. But we'll see. I still think, Nora is a good addition to the 135 division right now. Maybe her and Chelsea Chandler, they could fight. That's a good fight. Nora Cornolle versus Chelsea Chandler. Maybe her and Jacqueline Nunes, that's a good one. But for Jacqueline Cavalcanti to be tested again for the next level, I think she needs somebody like a Miesha Tate now. Miesha Tate, Yana Kaneskaya, Yana Santos, whatever name you want to call her. Those are fights that she needs, somebody that's going to make her have to pull out that killer. Somebody that's going to really push her to the cage and pressure her to make her dig deep and use that power. All right. So, yeah, let me know, guys, what y'all thought of the fight. I thought it was a good fight, though. I thought it was solid. Let's go to the next one. Ailin Perez versus Darya Zheleznyakova. Like I said, I Started to change my pick. I was going to jump on and say I'm going to change my pick. That's why I said I might change my pick because Ailin Perez looks shaky. But I think, overall, Ailin Perez is the more well-rounded fighter here. Definitely had the better ground game. She's improving in her striking. Darya Zheleznyakova, fan pick-wise, I wanted to pick her, but I just didn't feel like she had the ground game and, just didn't really have that same that same counter, like, jiu-jitsu, to kind of counter, get the respect of Ailin Perez. The first few minutes of the round, I thought, Zheleznyakova was looking for opportunities to maybe counter strike here. She was doing a good job of just keeping her range and, even kind of stopping Perez from the takedown. Because I remember Perez was like spamming kicks. She was throwing a lot of body kicks and she threw a head kick. I believe she did that on purpose, though. She threw a kick out. So Darya Zheleznyakova, takes her down. And, she grabs the leg and gets down. Then she gets down on top of her. So Zheleznyakova, I thought she had been working on her ground game. Looked like she got in her in good position. But maybe she just did that to buy a little ground control time because real quick, when she found out, she was in there a little too long, she got back up. So Ailin Perez, again, goes back to throwing body kicks and so on and kind of spamming kicks. And then she gets a nice body lock. She gets the back of Zheleznyakova. Zheleznyakova tries to get to the cage and break, but Perez, gets a good takedown. She's been working on the takedowns. When she gets that takedown, gets right into a full mount comfortably and just starts, putting that weight on Zheleznyakova and just mauling her a little bit till eventually she transitions to that half guard and just starts working in that arm triangle choke and does a good job of really, just keeping her on her back, really flattening Zheleznyakova out where she doesn't have any leverage to even move her hips. She's putting all that weight on the hips, Perez is, and she has her in that half guard. So as she's doing this, good strategy from Perez, then she tightens up that arm triangle and Zheleznyakova taps. And unfortunately, Ailin Perez twerks. I'm like, oh, man, like, we got to see this. Of course we're going to see. Every time she wins, we're going to see this. So whoever she's fighting, I'm going to be rooting against Ailin Perez. No, seriously, though. I mean, as a fan pick, I'm always going to pick somebody else. But, if I have to really pick, like in this fight here, I knew Ailin Perez would win, and she was my pick. So, yeah, I knew Ailin Perez did improve enough to get this victory. So, yeah, moving forward, Ailin Perez, she's doing what she got to do to try to stay relevant in the WMMA world. Me, I'm just not a fan of it, but I am a fan of her work as far as her improving in her submission game and her finishing rate. Like, she does come in there to fight. I'll give her that. But, she did miss weight. So she doesn't have any room to talk trash about somebody like Tracy Cortez, who missed, was having some weight issues. So she better get on her game. She better get on her game, and we better not have this type of issue. Other than that, like skill-wise, I see some improvements in Ailin Perez. From here, she's been fighting a lot of unranked fighters too. So maybe if she gets her hands on Yana Santos, Miesha Tate, whoever's in that lower half right now, I'm not looking at the weight rankings right now, so we'll talk about it maybe on Monday. But I think that both Cavalcanti and Perez, they're ready to be tested by some of the lower half veterans in the top 15 now. Anybody maybe from like 9 on down would be good for them. Or shoot, Cavalcanti versus Perez. Or maybe wait to see them two fight when they both get ranked. How about that? But yeah, other than that, the fights delivered. I thought they were good. Like I said, they answered some questions. Cavalcanti, for her, I think that, she just needs to find that killer instinct more and go after it. Because, man, she landed some clean right hands on Cornolle. She could have got her out of there. I'm just saying, man. As for Zheleznyakova, got to go back to the drawing board, work her takedown defense, and, just work on her jiu-jitsu as well. Because, she got sapped too easily in there. She did. Like, when she was on her back, I already saw it in her face. Like, when she got in the half guard and she was locked in, she just started getting sapped there, and she was done. But, bantamweight's getting a little bit interesting, y'all. I'm starting to, really look into this now again, but still far from what it used to be. Of course, next weekend we got a couple of good fights, that are going to answer some questions. Basically, it's like a bantamweight tournament next weekend. So, we'll talk about that. And, let me know in the comment section what y'all thought of these fights, guys. Combo Breaker 99. Make sure y'all subscribe. WMMA Talk. I'm out. Peace.